DJI Mic 2 is back on the game. Hey?
Yeah.
You wanna say hi to the world? What's your name?
My name's Jennifer.
Yeah, all right, Jennifer. See you again. How about that? Meeting people on the street, isn't that cool? I said, you should become a YouTuber like me. She says she'll think about it. You know, I had all sorts of intros and plans for this morning for this little walk and talk. But apart from Jennifer there, who was super cool, look at this. An absolute ripper. Vauxhall, looks a bit like a Viva. Absolutely beautiful. My granddad had one exactly like that. Wow, I'm back in the 70s. Right, well, let's try this again. What are we going to ramble on about today? It is a grey day. Now, is that very appropriate? Because maybe we're going to talk about something grey. Yeah? You okay? What's the matter? What's happening? Are you okay? Is there somebody there? Hello?
No.
No? No. I don't understand, I'm afraid. That was bye. That was a bit unnerving. God, what a morning. What's going on? The son or somebody just stuck his head out the window and said, don't worry, he look after her, or the grandson maybe. She's got dementia apparently. What a world we live in. It's kind of fitting because I was talking about, or I was going to talk about, getting older. Are there any advantages, I was going to say? There must be some. So let's have a look. This happens when you're trying to think of ideas. At least in my case, they come to you at the most inopportune moments. And do you know when this idea came to me? Middle of the night, probably 3 a.m. maybe 3:30. I did not look at my watch. I knew that would be a mistake. But I woke up. As you get older, you maybe use the bathroom in the middle of the night. Does happen. And in my case, a spark of a thought comes into my mind in the middle of the night. And that little spark can snowball. Sparks don't snowball, but you know, you get the idea. And it just turns into more and more and more and builds into an idea. And before you know it, I'm laying there in bed in the middle of the night, having a full-on conversation, having a full-on speech in my head to you lot. And it sounds brilliant, it sounds absolutely amazing. It's the best video I've ever made. But of course, I'm laying there in the dark, imagining this. And I think I've got to hang on to this idea and try and see if I can rustle it up again. It's never quite the same. The idea's coming back to me, so I'll see if I can dig it up again now. And the concept was about something I've mentioned before, and that is not having kids. It means that you want to try and share a little bit of knowledge with some others here and there. And I reckon I can come up with a few little bits of advice and tips for those of you who are a little bit younger. And maybe it'll, I don't know, give you a few ideas going forward. Something like that. So let's give that a try. As usual, totally off the cuff. The first thing I can think of is, as you get an opportunity to do something, take advantage of it, you know? It's like all the old sayings you might have learned in school. I know I did. Things like, why put off until tomorrow something you can do today and stuff like that. Don't keep putting things off. If there's something you want to do or try and achieve, or even a little job that needs doing, you know, just little things. If you've got a window of opportunity, do it. Because one thing you find as you get a little bit older, you know, and this should be a scientific fact somehow. This should be tested and proven. Time seems to speed up when you get older. I know a lot of people have said that, and it sounds like some sort of stupid myth, but you know, when you get there and you start to get on a little bit, you realize, actually, this is actually happening. You talk about things and you make some plans. You think, oh yeah, let's do that. Maybe we'll do that next year, you know, and maybe we should go, let's plan it for 2 years' time or something. And before you know it, that time has arrived. It is the next year. It's there. because you're working and living maybe month to month and then year to year, and those things just tick by just like that. So you start to realize that time sort of speeds up in a weird sort of way. So I guess that's my first tip. Time doesn't really speed up, but it feels like it does, because you find you have more and more things you want to do, more and more you want to achieve, and you have less and less time available to do it. So you need to take advantage of all those little moments. Here's a moment I'm taking advantage of. That blackberry. This one right here. Oh man, that's good. Took advantage of that. Oof. Nice. I'll give you a quick example of that one. Time seemingly speeding up. Of course, it's not true, but it feels like it. We moved to this house in this area, you know, and we were sort of hesitant about doing it and stuff like that, but we did it. And I was aware of this concept a long time ago. And I said, well, you know, time flies. Time really does fly. And I'm not kidding. I can sort of remember that period, and I remember saying that. And just like that, the other day, 8 years have gone. 8 years have gone, just like that. We didn't do anything any different. Carried on working, carried on with life, carried on doing things, carried on being busy, whatever. Going on holiday, doing trips, doing this, that and the other. Next thing, 8 years have passed, just like that. And I tell you, as you reach sort of, what is it, mid-30s, 40s, that sort of thing, 5 to 8 years, that sort of time period, absolutely flies by. Now, I'm not saying obviously you should cram everything into every given minute of every day all the time, because, you know, you've also got to strike a balance between normality and chaos. Keep that thing aware in the back of your mind that time does move pretty quickly at times, and you don't want to be one of these people that turns around later on and says, I should have done it back then. Keep that aware, and yeah, maybe you'll achieve more or get a little bit further, I don't know. Time anyway, it seems to move faster as you get a little bit older. But that's not to say you're going to run out of time, of course. You've got loads of time, you know, and the thing is, the better you look after yourself as you do get a bit older. I thought they were mulberries for a minute. The more time you'll have. You know, I started running quite late in life. I mean, I'm not big into running, but it's something I'd never liked when I was young. To be honest, I always found it a bit boring. But as I got older and sort of moved out a little bit, I thought, oh, let's give it another go, you know, let's give it a try. I had a bit of encouragement. Somebody else, I was able to run with someone else, and that really helped. And that got me going. And then, before you know it, I'd kick-started this routine. I was running every single weekend, and right now, my bike's in a bad way, so it's under repair. So I'm running almost every day a little bit. But yeah, you can even start things like that a bit later. It doesn't matter. But if you think you want to do something, don't put it off. Don't put it off. Because you might turn around one day and say, oh, I wish I'd done that when I was whatever. And that's the worst thing, you know. You might as well just go out and start something. Give it a try. If you fancy running or fancy doing something else, you've always liked the idea of it, it's probably not going to go away. That's a good point, actually. If you've got something in the back of your mind you always fancy doing or trying, you know, I've always had the idea of, you know, one day, I'm going to have a go at YouTube. One day, I'm going to give it a try. And eventually that one day came, but now I'm only a few months into it. But what if I had done this a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? See, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm talking about running and exercise, believe it or not. So this is absolutely on the ball. There you go. So I started running 8 years ago. 57 and still running. Brilliant. There you go. Absolutely perfect. Well, I started 8 years ago and I'm still at it. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. That was the idea. And I finally got around to it. But if I had done it a year ago, 2 years ago, just think how much further down the line I'd be now. And that's one of the big lessons I've learned during my thoughts and philosophies on things like this is, if I had done it a year or two ago, see how much further I would be now. And that is a theme that keeps cropping up with me quite a lot. And it's something I sort of kick myself a little bit these days. Why didn't I start that thing, whatever it was, a little bit sooner? And I want you lot to think a little bit like that. Because if there's something in the back of your mind that's always been hanging around there, and you think, one day I'll do this, one day I'll do that, there's a very good chance that one day you'll turn around and say, I wish I had done that or started that long ago. The old best time to plant a tree is last year or something, 10 years ago. The next best time to plant it is now. That's true, you know, that sort of thing. I wonder when that tree was planted. 10 years ago? 5 years ago? It's just so weird. I'm meeting people today. This never happens. And do you know what? There's almost nobody about. In school holidays, look at this. Look at that tumbleweed. If I was a good editor, I'd put a tumbleweed in now. There's nobody here. A bloke on a bike, one woman running, poor old senile old lady in a wheelchair, and Jennifer, who wants to be a YouTuber. I missed a golden opportunity, didn't I? Could have had another subscriber there. What was I thinking? Shows how good at marketing I am. Oh, I saw this thing the other day that said, if you say on your channel, please like and subscribe, that pings up on the old channel thing down below. So I don't know if that's going to work, but if you want to do those things, fine. I'd be a very happy man. But I was more of an experiment to see if like and subscribe sort of lights up as you say it. I think I'm not going to get through all these points today, partially because I can't recall them, partially because I had them at 3 a.m. when it was all crystal clear in my mind. Right now, it's a bit fuzzy because I'm concentrating on where I'm going, what I'm doing. But I think we might have to revisit this idea. I'll come up with a few more ideas, and we might have a part 2 as to the advantages, and are there any disadvantages of getting older? Of course there are, but there's also advantages, and that's what people don't think. There's good stuff comes with age, experience for one thing, you know, stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to make this one. These lights are too quick. Hang on, maybe. Oh, no. Damn it. I'm like that guy that ran for the bus when they closed the doors on him. Well, just stroll across casually. Didn't quite make that. Oh, I've seen her before. You were shaking like a shitting dog, I tell you. Conkers on conker trees. Conkers on string? God, how old am I? Maybe not so good at remembering the current stuff, but you can remember the old stuff. It's a shame I didn't have the camera out yesterday. There was a guy using a remote control 4x4 thing on that thing, and it was awesome. Another thing I discovered a little bit late in life is that if you've got a natural sort of affinity with something, a natural pull towards a certain thing, try and take advantage of that. Leverage it. You know, if you've got something that's slightly advantageous to you, not over others necessarily, but you can recognize that it's something that you are happy with, comfortable with, good at, you know, try and leverage that somehow. And maybe you won't realize that until later on. But if you're aware of it earlier on or when you're younger, maybe you can use that to your advantage. I think in my case, I think it's possible I have a little bit of dyslexia. I'm not a big fan of reading. I never did read that much. And then I've noticed that people who are artistic and very arty are also a little bit on the dyslexic side. So it's possible that I have a little bit of an artistic side. Maybe. I don't mean with drawing, that sort of thing, pretty terrible at that. But in the creative space, as in photography. So that in some ways is a little bit of my advantage in some respects, perhaps, that I'm trying to leverage. It is something that I enjoy and something that I'm taking advantage of. Let's put it that way. And if that leads to other things, all the better. But if you find your thing earlier on in life, whatever it might be, maybe you can leverage that to your advantage too. It could be YouTube, could be art, could be photography, running, who knows what. There's 100,000 things that you could be good at. It's just learning to recognize what it might be on the inside. You know, we've all got friends, we all know people that are, oh, they're really good at this, or they're really good at that. Chances are you're really good at something too, and they see it, but you might not. So, you know, examine yourself a little bit, have a think about things. What do you enjoy doing? Do it and make the most of it. There, I said it. Look at this. Brutalist block. Welcome to Soviet North London. I've said it before, but I kind of have a soft spot for these sort of buildings. I don't know, there's something about the design, the simplicity of it, maybe that's what it is. If there's one thing I am good at, it's false endings. Let's leave it at that. Let's pick it up another time. I'll come up with more ideas and more thoughts and philosophies from my own head, whether they make sense or not. Hopefully somebody somewhere will pick up some threads from this and it'll make some sort of sense, you know, or you'll get some sort of, I don't know, some sort of inspiration from it in some shape or form. That's the idea. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you sometime on the next one with some thoughts and philosophies straight out of my head. See you next time.